Life science teams are producing more content than ever, yet seeing less return from it. Today, I'll walk through a practical framework for turning your scientific content into a repeatable growth engine for your new life science company. So, a lot of times we have early stage founders that just launched their new website, and so they just want to start creating content and getting out there. But we also have people with a small to medium sized website that have been doing content but haven't been reaping the benefits. We've been doing this for 10 years. We kind of boiled it down to roughly seven main points that are common symptoms for underperformance of content. Number one, there's no unique points of views expressed. It's kind of just summarizing what's out on the internet already. Number two, low confidence. The confident doesn't sound authoritative enough. Number three, there's a curiosity gap. We're a very technical field. You need to be data driven, provide detailed insights and educational. But now, especially in the digital age, we really need to capture people's attention to get them to the site and want to learn more. Metric overload. There's really not a lack of metrics to look at now. There's so many different tools, and Google Analytics itself has overload. So you really want to make sure you're looking at some high level metrics that can help you make sure you're improving each month. Channel silos, occasionally, we see a lot of just reliance on one to two main channels. Usually you do have just one or two channels that really do well, but it's really important, especially for AI search, that you're taking a multi-channel approach. Nurture neglect. So we take all this time to create leads, and then you have your emails, and then you keep doing that engine and getting new emails. But it's so important to really nurture the leads that you already have, because those are the people that you can really foster long-term healthy relationships. And then finally, the invisible stakeholder, we can't forget about our trusty LLMs. More and more often, scientists are turning to Gemini, Claude, and ChatGPT for answers to commonly asked questions. So the strategic goal is to turn from marketing channel to authority, that your site is really becoming a place the audience returns to and trusts for information. So you first are getting discovered through AI search or Google search, but over time, you really want people to kind of keep visiting, and you're a dependable resource. From content to credibility, every asset compounds that trust. From traffic to signal, a lot of times we're working and we're looking at these websites. There are people that coming to the site, but sometimes it's just bots and it's not really, or it's not target audiences. So we really want to learn and engage that reveals intent, readiness, and unmet needs. And from channel to authority. So we start by going through multiple channels, but at the end of the day, we really want you to be a reference point in your particular category. So how content works across the buyer journey? You start with awareness of education, videos, blogs, whatnot, and then you move on to engagement and trust, typically through a webinar or a data-driven primary data white paper, and then finally for decision support, any case study or proof points supporting your claims. And then underneath it all is your website, which is a system of record, which can show you how the engagement is, how discoverable you are, and whatnot. The tactical goal is to flood the zone. So you have your primary research, unique insights, whether it's in a blog or a white paper on your healthy SEO and GEO optimized site. And then you take that message in different formats and different communication styles through traditional media, social media, direct company channels, newsletters, blogs, and podcasts. New media is a real growing function. You can either be a guest on all the various podcasts or create your own. And it's important to always be looking at the content system for AI search. Where technical search is on page, you want to make sure it's keyword optimized and so on. But with AI search, it's really earned through EEAT guidelines and what AI infer from what everyone else is saying about your brand and how you're mentioned, how often you're mentioned. So some of the best practices for AI readiness is internal alignment, structured authority, expert-led content. always having that strong technical foundation for site speed, but also UX. Google does care about the UX of your website, and then the backend schema and FAQs and whatnot. Like I mentioned, the diverse sources, so traffic from search, social, newsletter, PR. So, you're not reliant on just one or two channels, and external validation for backlinks, press, and citations. So that's great. So how do we get there? So we've developed a 5-phase process where phase one is brand and content assessment. We meet and talk with the leadership for an alignment call and just kind of dig into what you know of your audience and what if you've done any content previously, what has worked, what hasn't, and then basic desk research, looking at all the competition from the outside and then also from the back end from search perspective. And then if we're going to start a content strategy and content development, we really want to make sure we have a optimized website. So that's phase two. Phase three, we move into strategy development. So building that brand positioning, we start with creating a 90-day content plan. And then in phase four, produce that content and launch, and then review performance and optimization so you can refine audience targeting and scale successful topics. So the first 90 days, we are in a process where we want to push content out, but it is a very structured test and learn process. So we're building momentum without that waste, but all that action creates data and data creates clarity. So for, usually the first thing to kind of just get moving, we can optimize some core pages, fix product or service pages, maybe the home page or the About Us page needs a little uplift. And then based on our hypothesis of what we think the customer intentions are and the content we're serving to, kind of show them that we understand their pain. We tested out with this content, creating 3 to 4 content pillars, and then observes and track what works across the segments. So you can do blogs, social, webinar, white paper, just a bunch of different content and different audience types. So metrics that actually matter, as I mentioned previously, there's not a lack of metrics. So this is something that's really important when we go through the strategy plan, is to kind of really understanding how are we going to measure success, what metrics are we going to use, to know that on a weekly and monthly basis that we're heading in the right direction. So we look at compound growth, because SEO and content strategy and GEO is very much a slow compound interest growth initiative. And then we want to make sure we're diversifying the channels. Sometimes, especially if you're a smaller team, you can kind of get lazy on posting on social media or a newsletter. So we kind of help to make sure that we're still, on a regular basis, doing all these things pretty regularly, that the content is educational, but also has that curiosity factor to kind of help guide people. So looking at the engagement rate, health check, make sure the website's always good, and then content and AI governance. So this is, oops. So why content governance matters. So in this AI age, we certainly want to use AI to improve our, how fast we're working and improve our thinking, create better content. But it's really important that we have some sort of governance. We have noticed that in companies, if you start to implement AI, it can um, widen the gap that you see from the beginning of between people, processes, and technology. So we really want to make sure we first start with aligning resources and incentives, building that trust and accountability systems, and using these AI tools, but balancing that risk and creativity. So this is how our process. We do have 3 different packages. One is a starter package just to get going with the outcome to become discoverable and credible. Once we have like a good idea and you really feel like, okay, well, maybe we can put some more resources and some oomph on this, we can move more into PR. I do work with a 20-year veteran of life science PR that we can bring her in and kind of build up your brand there. I also have PhD content writers that can support if we need extra content development. Maybe we can add a little bit of paid distribution on social or search. And then, and that would, with the goal to rank faster and earn media validation. And then finally, we would move into leading the category. We're really focused on elevating the executive, CEO preferably, but CTO, CSO as well, to really, have that direct channel from you to the, now, I mean, it's you actually speaking to the patient. And helping them understand, maybe products you have out and in the clinical trial, but the science, the media, really a way to like just another way to help build up your brand and let people get to know you, because at the end of the day, it's not B2C, it's not B2C, it's people to people. People buy from people. So why Scientia? It's PhD led. It's so Scientia is myself, and I have a trusted group of experts that I've worked with the past 10 years, but I will always be your your account manager, and I'll be working directly and doing the work as well. We're all very experimental. Most of us are PhDs, so we are data first. We experiment, we look at the data, and so we can make better decisions. We're fluent in AI, R&D, and life science commercialization. And as mentioned, we have this proprietary life science content quality scoring system that we developed 3 years ago with the support of students at SDSU and UC San Diego. So would love to jump on a call if you feel like this might be a good fit or just want to know a little bit more about us. Happy to do that. There's my Calendly link. Or if you want to just go to our case studies, there's a QR code for Form Bio. That was an AI company in the biomanufacturing space. We also worked with Modern Vivo, which is AI targeting scientists for literature review, and Occam Global, which is a life science executive search, recruitment, and investment firm, which we're really helping elevate the leadership. So thank you so much for listening and hope to hear from you soon.